All right, guys, we should be live right now. I am going to be testing out a few different things over the course of this stream. This is my first time attempting to stream at 1080p 60 FPS, so I guess you guys can let me know how it works out. Let me know if everything's smooth. Obviously, I'll try to play some video at some point to make sure. But yeah, can you guys hear me okay? I'm not seeing anything in the chat saying it works. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. Just gonna bring it up on my end as well, just to see. Okay. So what I want to do over the course of this stream is I want to have a discussion with you guys about Xbox. Obviously, a little bit different, but I was contemplating whether or not I wanted to save this discussion for the podcast, and we definitely will talk more about this during the podcast that's coming up, and we may even do a part two to this. How are we feeling about Xbox? Going into E3 tomorrow. Obviously, we have the first gameplay reveal of Horizon Forbidden West, which is, I think it's going to blow people away. I think that's kind of obvious, but I'm going to be streaming that. Now, there's going to be like a pre-stream, and it's going to be like 5 hours long or something like that. So I'm probably going to go live a little bit before the pre-stream actually starts, but I'm not going to be on here the entire time. I definitely don't want to stream. I don't think I could stream for 5 or 6 hours straight. It's not realistic for me, but I'll go live tomorrow for a little bit in the beginning, test it out, make sure everything's good, chat with you guys for a bit, maybe a half hour, an hour. Then I'm going to leave the stream up, and then I'm just going to, go do my thing, whatever I got to get done, and then I'll be back probably a good half hour, 45 minutes before the state of play actually starts. So yeah, I'll just keep it up because I don't know what they're going to be showing during the pre-stream tomorrow. I'm assuming it's going to be kind of like Death Stranding, where they slowly reveal certain snippets and whatnot. So, I mean, I'm just going to keep it up for people who want to watch it. This will be a place where you can watch it. But yeah, getting into this topic here, this discussion. So, Xbox. Where do we begin with their E3 conference? I mean, you guys remember, okay? You remember, I don't know how many of you here are new, how many of you watching right now, or those that will watch after the fact. I don't know how many of you were here last year when I talked about my expectations for Xbox's 2020 showcase. It wasn't part of E3 because E3 wasn't a thing, but I was under the impression that last year that was going to be Xbox's year. Like it had been literally E3 after E3 after event, year after year, where it's like, how long are we going to have to wait? How long are we going to have to wait? I did miss a super chat, by the way, in the beginning. I don't know if I can get to it really quick. CookX, you're saying they got to revive Advent Rising from the OG Xbox. Maybe they will. And then we have Sir Speaks a Lot. Obviously, it wouldn't be a stream if Sir Speaks a Lot wasn't here to talk about something strange in the beginning. He says, Lady MBG, I know you are here or will be here later. Please convince your husband to give us the feet pics. Don't hog him all to yourself. Share, please. I'm not even going to comment on that one, Sir Speaks a Lot, okay? We're talking about Xbox. We're talking about Xbox's E3, and as usual, you're here in the beginning to just try to immediately derail that, but I'm not going to let you this time, Sir Speaks a Lot. I do appreciate the super chat, though. And Caped Crusader is saying, driving right now, but had to tune in for this, LOL. Yeah, well, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I know this stream was kind of out of nowhere, and I do apologize. I really have to try to get better at planning out when I'm going to do streams. I literally gave you guys about 20 to 25 minutes warning for this, so I do apologize. I'm going to try my best to get better at that. But all right, let me well first let's go over the information here. There's definitely some interesting stuff we're gonna have to go over. Some interesting stuff that insider Jeff Grubb had to say about Xbox's E3 that did not sit very well with me. It's not as bad as I think some people are taking it, but it definitely didn't sit well with me. So we're gonna have to talk about that. Um, Mepsic, let me tell you why Xbox is the worst console. JK, just wanted to trigger some people. Hope all is well, MBG. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Everything's going good. And that's the thing. Like, I'm not doing this stream as like, hey, we're gonna bash Xbox and talk about why they're terrible. I don't plan to do that. And we are a PlayStation centric channel here, obviously, but we do talk about Xbox a lot, and Xbox definitely has a role here on the channel. And I do think that this year is gonna be interesting, to say the least. I think that what Microsoft does this year is going to have a pretty big impact on the perception of the Xbox brand once again, because I think most of you can agree with me when I say when they announced the Bethesda acquisition, you know, they immediately garnered a ton of momentum and hype and excitement. And I think that E3 is where they're either going to really ride that wave and continue to ride that wave, or it's all going to come crashing down because they just did not deliver once again in the eyes of a lot of gamers, both Xbox gamers, PlayStation gamers, every gamer, honestly, right? I mean, we're PlayStation fans here, but I think most of us would honestly say we're still relatively interested in what Xbox might have. I think that's the key right there, is like what they might have. Sir Speaks a lot. You're saying, holy hell, look at that background. Yeah, so I did want to get your opinion on this. I have this God of War banner. I don't know if you can see it. It actually says "Be Better." I think my chair and everything is like covering it. Obviously, I'm in front of it, but yeah, this was actually designed by my friend Rick. He has done all like the channel art and whatnot, and I decided to get like a banner and hang it up. I think it looks better than the last background. So you let me know. This is yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I'm super hyped for God of War Ragnarok, so I thought this would be appropriate. But yeah, let's see. Really quick, I gotta ask you guys too, because I do want to really dive into this. But I gotta ask you, how is the stream coming across? Because again, this is my first time streaming at 1080 60. So for anybody who's able to watch it, how is it coming through? Does it seem like it's going well? Because when he says glorious, good. Okay, yeah. At the very end of this stream, I'm gonna play some video at 1080p 60 just to make sure, because I want to know. Like, I don't know if tomorrow, for example, if Sony's going to be showing off the Horizon gameplay at 60 frames. I don't know if they're going to, but just in case, I would like to stream it at 60 if they are. And if I can just stream at 60 going forward, I'm definitely not going to stream it at 4K, though. That's just too much. That's too much on the internet bandwidth. But all right, everybody's saying it looks good. Okay, good. So here we are. Xbox, they made this announcement at 3 p.m. Games, world premiere, right? New titles on Xbox Game Pass. Got to make sure to plug Game Pass. It wouldn't be Xbox if you weren't talking about Game Pass. Save the date for the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase. So yeah, this was announced, and I'm going to be streaming this, and I'm genuinely excited. So I put Hellblade on the thumbnail of this discussion video because I know that there are a lot of people who are under the belief that I don't care about Xbox at all anymore and they have nothing in development that I'm interested in. That's simply not true. I'm actually very excited for Hellblade. I think I'm more excited for Hellblade 2 than anything else that Xbox currently has in development that I'm aware of. Right behind that, I'd say there's State of Decay 3, which I do not expect to see anything of. And then there is, let me see here, Forza Horizon 5, which I think will be announced. And apparently Avowed is going to make an appearance this time, but I don't know if I'm excited for that or not. Venom Quest, you're saying it's all good? All right, thanks, man. Appreciate that. I'm glad that the stream's coming through good. It seems like this PC was definitely a worthwhile investment. Also, really quick, gotta say, really glad I got this PC when I did, because I would have hit the roof in a bad way if because I wasn't sure if I was going to make this investment like right now. Like I didn't know if I was going to pull the trigger on it. And then to find out that, oh, by the way, we're going to be showing off Horizon Forbidden West gameplay. Dude, I bought this thing at just the right time because that's like I couldn't imagine what it would be like to miss streaming that live with you guys. Marcus, you're saying I'm not getting my expectations high for the Xbox showcase because after the last 8 to 9 years, it's always the same thing. Wait until this or that. Yeah, and so that's one thing we're definitely going to be discussing here in regards to what Jeff Grubb said. If you follow me on Twitter, you may have seen that I put this clip out. And, it's tough to talk about the stuff on Twitter because everybody gets their, they get all mad and upset. And I'm just like, I'm literally thanking Jeff Grubb this time because he seems to be trying to make it clear to people that, Xbox is going to have a good showcase, but do you guys remember Sony's E3 2015, Sony's E3 2016? How after that, like, I mean, people look back on that and are like, it was the best E3 ever. Like, it was that moment that solidified Sony as like, yeah, they got this in the bag. They're winning this generation. Like we knew in 2013 and 2014, just based off of how much Xbox messed up the reveal of the Xbox One, that Sony was going to get off to a really, really good head start. But in 2015 and 16, if you go back and watch those E3s, to a lot of people, that was like Sony's like not just a 1-2 punch, but a 1-2 punch, and basically with the God of War reveal in 2016, a knockout. And Horizon Zero Dawn. Microsoft just literally wasn't doing anything even remotely close to that. So I think a lot of people are going into Xbox's E3 this year anticipating essentially Microsoft to have that type of conference because it's been long enough. Even back in 2014, Sony said, oh, we have a lot of games in development, but they're not ready. And with this Bethesda acquisition, I think it kind of adds even more pressure where it's like people are expecting a lot. And I don't know with Microsoft this time around and this year, I don't know that it's necessarily about the quantity of what they show. I think it's more about the impact of what they show. I mean, if you go back to last year's Xbox event, there were two huge, like, critical flaws. The first was the only gameplay segment they showed off was Halo Infinite, and that left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. They were like, well, I mean, you guys know, you were here, the whole Craig thing, they screwed up big time with the Halo Infinite reveal. And then everything after that was basically just CG trailers, and people didn't like that. So, we're in a situation now where we're going to have Sony come out and show Horizon Forbidden West gameplay before Microsoft's E3. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I didn't anticipate this. What people need to understand about this is the level of confidence Sony is showing compared to Xbox right now. The Cape Crusader is saying, like the great MBG once said, I'm done waiting for Xbox. Yeah, dude, I mean, that's my whole thing here. I'm going to talk about it in a minute, but I'm basically going to talk about this idea that, if you guys were to ask me a question, and this is a question I'm asking myself, am I giving Xbox the benefit of the doubt this time around? I gave him it last year and every year prior to that, because every year, it's not that I drink the Kool-Aid, it's not so much that, as much as it's just like, well, how long can this go on for, right? Like, surely they've gotten their stuff together and they're going to deliver this time, right? But talking about Sony's confidence, okay, I put out a tweet yesterday. I'll actually I'll bring it up here because I don't have to stay on this page. So let me see. Okay, so just to acknowledge this tweet here, something is coming, something big. A lot of people took this as me making it sound like I'm some kind of insider. I understand that maybe it comes off that way. I don't have any inside information, and I can assure you of one thing: if I did have any like legitimate inside information about anything regarding anything in the games industry, I would not share that publicly. That would just be something I would keep to myself. So don't look at that assuming I have some type of information about God of War. I just made, I think anybody could have made this statement. It's like, yeah, something big is coming. Did I know when I posted this tweet that Sony was going to announce Horizon Forbidden West gameplay reveal? No, I didn't. But it kind of maybe seemed that way. I'm just letting you know I didn't know that. Mepsic, you're saying I don't know how close an eye you guys have on Nintendo, but I honestly feel like there's more hype surrounding Nintendo's exclusives than Xbox's. To be honest, I don't pay too much attention to Nintendo, so I feel like I can't give a judgment call on that, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if that was the truth. You're asking me if I have any predictions. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about some of my predictions. Don't worry. So, I put this. Let me see. Where did I put it? Yeah, in case I was really fixated on this whole Kojima thing. Maybe we'll have to do a video or something talking about that, or we'll talk about it on the podcast or whatever. I think Kojima's messing with us. This was that clip from Jeff Grubb that I talked about. Okay, so I put this tweet out, and it ruffled a few feathers, and I wasn't trying to do that. Honestly, I was just laughing when I put this out because I thought it was funny. I put this out the same day. It was actually yesterday when we found out about the Horizon Forbidden West reveal. And the reason why I put this is because, honestly, the amount of pressure Xbox is going to be under and I have to say this because I haven't seen the Horizon gameplay yet, but I think we're all feeling pretty confident in it. If Sony shows off this gameplay tomorrow and it's like next level as we're all expecting it to be, and it really like delivers, yeah. Sir Speaks like saying might be worth checking out the new UE5 gameplay. Yeah, I saw that. It looks really good. I saw some of it, not the whole thing. Maybe I'll talk about that in a minute because some people seem to be under the impression that people like me and a lot of you guys and others were saying that, oh, Unreal Engine 5 can't run on the Series X. And it's like, that's not what anybody was ever saying. We were saying that the specific demo that was tailored for the PlayStation 5 that we saw last year, that most likely can't run on the Series X, especially that end segment when she's flying through the sky at like incredible speed and everything's collapsing around her. We haven't seen anything like that on the Series X yet, as far as I'm aware. And even with this new demo, we're not seeing that because it's also running on a Series X. People forget that, Epic Games, not to get too far off topic here, but just to make everybody, aware, Epic Games made it clear that they literally went back and rewrote code for Unreal Engine 5 specifically for the PS5 to accommodate for that because they're like, oh, okay, Sony's going on another level with their I/O throughput and their SSD. So they didn't do that for Xbox. You could say because maybe they didn't need to, but there's a reason why we saw that demo when we did, and we saw specifically what was happening inside of that demo. Anyway, getting off topic here. So I put this out here, this tweet, and below it I said, in all seriousness, Xbox is likely bringing some heat this year. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit, but that's what we want to see. Sony always seems to find a way to deliver. Xbox has struggled to do so big time year after year. Maybe this year is different. And, I wanted to put that there because I do want people to understand, like, it's funny to look at this, but I'm telling you right now, Phil's sweating. Okay, Phil is sweating right now, just like this meme at this Horizon gameplay reveal. Okay, and this isn't even God of War we're talking about. Like, I'm telling you, if I was under the impression that Sony was going to be saving Horizon for whenever they did their own event, and I thought for sure that they were going to wait for Xbox to go first. Lyro, you're saying, I did that Kojima post for you. You're welcome. Yeah, thanks, man. I saw those posts earlier this morning and I didn't think anything of it. And then people were like, oh, well, I did think that one where he posted, he's like, I'm at work. I'm like, that's kind of weird. Like he's posing like he's at work. And anybody who knows Kojima, that he's a troll. He's a master troll. And the worst part about his type of trolling is you can never tell when he's in troll mode and when he's not. So yeah, but getting back on topic here, because I keep getting off topic. I think Xbox is under a tremendous amount of pressure. Now, with this being said, I want to move over to a clip of Jeff Grubb. This should be able to come through to you guys, by the way, audio wise. So just give me a second to make sure it will.
They announced a lot of that stuff.
All right. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
Avowed Fable. We know that Elder Scrolls 6 is coming at some point.
Can you guys hear this okay? I'm going to start it from the beginning. I just want to make sure the audio is coming through. I think it should be. You guys can? Do I need to put the volume up a little bit? Is it too low? Because I want you guys to hear this. I think this is pretty significant. You know, Jeff Grubb said the other day, you know, he got the... Look, I know some of us are torn on whether or not Jeff Grubb's really an insider. I mean, look, I think it's clear he definitely has inside knowledge. Like, I think that that's obvious. But, you know, let's just listen to what he has to say here, okay? I would go... I mean, he had more than this to say, and I didn't cut anything out that, you know, was important or anything, in my opinion, because I think that, you know, this just sums it up pretty well. So let's listen to what he has to say here, okay? Oops, I hit the wrong button.
Avowed Fable. We know that Elder Scrolls 6 is coming at some point in the future. There's a ton of Perfect Dark. There is a ton of stuff in the works, but they announced a lot of that stuff last year, so they can't announce those new games again. And then does that mean if this year feels more conservative because they don't have a ton of new game announcements? I think it might feel that way, but it's not them trying to be like, oh, let's pull back because we're stepping on the gas too much. It is them saying, hey, we want to show stuff that we can, you know, that can surprise people, and that stuff might have a CG trailer. And we have all this other stuff that's in the works, like Perfect Dark or whatever, but it's not ready to show. And if we were to show it, it would be a CG trailer, and we're not going to show another second CG teaser for a game that we announced last year. So what do we focus on this at this E3? Let's focus on games that are coming out soon. Let's focus on new games that we can announce that are also probably coming out in the next year or two.
Okay, so before I continue the rest of this clip, Magnet Visuals, you're saying, have you seen the Unreal Engine 5 Xbox demo? Thoughts? I've seen parts of it. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I want to just acknowledge the first part of what Jeff Grubb's saying here. So what he's saying, it can be good and it can be bad. Okay, so he basically what he's saying is last year Xbox wanted to show a lot of what they would consider surprising stuff, but also stuff that's very far out. So like Fable's not anywhere near done. That's probably a 2023 game, maybe even later. Avowed, you know, apparently Avowed's doing a little bit better, but still I think most people are under the impression that that's a while from now. Even Hellblade, when we saw that in 2019, State of Decay 3, most likely. All of these games that we saw last year from Xbox in the CG trailers. So he's saying that they already announced these games, but they're really far out. And so because of that, they're not ready to be shown off outside of those CG trailers. So therefore, they're not going to be here this year. And he's saying some people could find this disappointing. Like Perfect Dark as well was already announced. People are, you know, he's trying to make it clear that people are expecting more gameplay. We're expecting to see more than just CG trailers. And so Microsoft is kind of in a predicament right now where they only have so many games right now that are in close enough to a finished state that they can actually show gameplay of, that it might end up surprising people in a bad way. Like, you're only going to see gameplay from a few select games. But let's continue and listen to the rest of this.
And then let's focus on gameplay for stuff that we've already announced. And so it's going to feel, I think it's going to feel disappointing to some people because it's not going to have that, like, that, you know, that PlayStation 2015, 2016 sort of aura where they hadn't talked about games a lot for the years before that. And then suddenly they had a ton of games in the works that they could announce out of nowhere, and then big gameplay showcases for like God of War or whatever. They're just not at that place yet.
So I do want to acknowledge one thing as well before we finish off this clip is I don't fully agree with what he's saying here about Sony back in 2013, 14, and 15, how yes, Sony did not have as many games, as many new IP, but I will admit, And I gotta say, like, Sony still did a pretty good job in delivering games relatively consistently throughout those years. I mean, you're looking at Infamous Second Son, for better or for worse. You're looking at The Order 1886. You're looking at Killzone. You're looking at Knack. You're looking at Bloodborne, stuff like that, where it's like they still had a pretty fair amount of games coming. It's just it wasn't the tidal wave of colossal AAAs, I guess you could say, that started, I guess you could say, maybe with Uncharted 4 moving forward. So I don't fully agree with that. The only reason I say this is because he's trying to basically compare the position that Xbox has been in the past couple years to the position that Sony was in from 2013 to 2015. And I think that that's not really fair because, you know, Xbox has been in a worse position and they have been for some time. You know what I mean? Like the game, you know, even if you were getting one or two really amazing games from Sony between, you know, 2013, at the end of 2013 when the console launched, to maybe towards the end of 2014, they're still really good games. You know what I mean? Xbox, they still are just struggling to make good games, you know? That's not something Sony really ever struggled with, to be completely honest. Sir Speaks a Lot, you're saying Sony announces Bloodborne 2. What do you do? I get up and I start running around and I start yelling like a crazy person. I don't know what I would do, honestly. I really don't know. But that's not going to happen. Anyway, let's finish this clip because I think the last 30 seconds of this clip are the most important that we have to talk about.
They'll be at that place soon. And this comes down, I know, you have to wait. And that's the biggest criticism against Xbox right now is people are saying, hey, get excited. Well, wait. You got to wait, though. Wait. You can get excited, but you still have to wait. It's just the way it is. And it stinks that you still have to kind of wait. But I think you're going to have to wait. And I think next year will feel like the really, really, really big E3.
But I think you're going to have to wait. And I think next year will feel like the really, really, really big E3.
Okay, so I edited that last part myself to put it in slow-mo because I really thought that out of everything he said here, that is the most important. Not so I can be like, ha, sucks to be an Xbox fan. No, I know that it's easy to get like that. But the truth is, this is good that he's saying this. And I am now reconsidering my expectation that I was going to have going into this show, where I'm not saying that I'm trying to set Xbox up to fail, where if I basically come out here and say, well, Xbox has to impress me, and I believe they're going to, and I believe they're going to have the biggest and best things, and then they inevitably don't, and then I can be like, oh, well, you suck, Xbox, you really let everybody down, and then people will say, oh, that's because you set unrealistic expectations. I'm going to be completely frank with everybody right now. Anybody who's tuning into this Xbox conference, you have every right, whether you're an Xbox fan or not, you have every right to be as hyped as you want to be, because the truth is, it's just like I said here with this clip I said, and I wasn't talking to Jeff Grubb when I said this, I was speaking generally, no excuses this time. Xbox needs to bring it this year, not next year or the year after. How long do Xbox fans have to continue to wait? Enough is enough. And then I said that I'm glad Jeff Grubb is saying this because, hey, like maybe this is what Xbox fans need to hear before going into E3, because like I said, Microsoft, they literally bought momentum. They bought hype with the Bethesda acquisition. They purchased it for $7.5 billion. Jeff Grubb, he was mentioning these other games, Avowed, Fable. People are talking about the Elder Scrolls 6. It's like, do you have any idea? Any idea? And I really need people to think about this, okay? Do you have any idea how far away the Elder Scrolls 6 is? We're not talking about a game that's 2, 3, 4 years away. We are talking about a game that very well could not release until a decade from now. I know that sounds absurd to some people, but I'm telling you, games like the next Fallout, these are games that they're years and years away. We will literally be either close to or in the next generation of consoles by the time these games are anywhere close to being done. Even Starfield. Look at how long Starfield's been in development. It's been in development for years, and we're still hearing now that it's still a couple years away. It's targeting late 2022, and it could even be potentially 2023 if it needs that extra time, come on, let's be honest, it's going to need that extra time. It's a big, ambitious game, and I will give it that, obviously. They're striving for something big, but, it's just between Microsoft Studios and Bethesda Studios, the general idea that I'm getting is that there's stuff that's still a ways away. And this is where I just, people wonder why I'm still not giving Xbox the credit they're due. And it's like, I don't I've given them the credit. You want me to give them credit for buying a publisher? Okay. I mean, how much credit can I really give Microsoft for doing that? I said that they did it, and it's a good thing they did it because it's clear that they needed it. You know what I mean? But I've made it clear that they need to deliver. They need to deliver. That's why I titled my thumbnail the way I did. Will Xbox deliver? And based off of what Jeff Grubb's saying, I think I'm not going to say no, they won't. What I'm going to say is it really comes down to, okay, if what Jeff Grubb's saying is they're not going to have as much to show as maybe some people are expecting because they already revealed a bunch of CG trailers for games that are nowhere near done, and they only have a few games that are going to be ready to go in the next year and a half, and that's what they want to show, then at that point, the pressure increases even more because if you're only going to show a few games, you got to make sure that they impress. Again, this is where Microsoft is finding that you can't really buy your way out of certain problems. You just can't. This is something that Sony learned the hard way, where Sony knew throughout all these years that, well, our strength is not quantity. It's not the amount of AAA games we have. It's the impact each one has. Do you guys remember that first Uncharted 4 demo? It's like, do you think like that's what Xbox needs? They need a demonstration from something like Starfield, and they blew it last year. They were supposed to have that moment with Halo, as I've said. They blew it. Now it's on Starfield, and we don't even know if we're going to get a gameplay demo of Starfield. You would assume we are. It has to impress. It has to impress. Whatever other game they may have ready to show, you know what? I'm going to be real, and I say this as somebody who is very excited for the next Forza Horizon game, who will definitely play the next Forza Horizon game. If they think they're going to walk on stage and show gameplay of Forza Horizon 5 and they expect applause, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Like, no more. I don't want to see any more Forza. I don't want to see any more Gears. I mean, we're going to see Halo, but even that, it needs to impress. And that's, I think, what it falls down on. Sir Speaks Loud is saying, let's not ignore that some games on Xbox are literally on paid beta stages, like Grounded, for example. At least finish the games you make. Hey, man, they have Game Pass, dude. Game Pass. I'm not saying it's early access, but it's just, if they want to do that, they can kind of leverage it as like, well, it's not 100% done, but we're just throwing it in the Game Pass. Like, I get it. I'll give them a pass on that one. I mean, you guys know how I feel about early access games and games that are in beta. Like, if you clearly identify that that's what it is and make it 100% clear, I don't have a problem with it. NES Ninja Skills, thank you so much for becoming a member, buddy. I appreciate that. Welcome aboard to the membership club, I guess, if that's what you want to call it, but I appreciate it, man. And we have a generous donation from Evan Washington. You're saying the big titles that are coming need to not be rushed. Xbox showed those CG trailers to let fans know that they are finally putting the focus on their IP they should have years ago. Making God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn take time. Not do or die yet. Well, I do understand where you're coming from, Evan. If you were to ask me, is this do or die? I mean, look, realistically speaking, like putting the fan stuff aside, like being a fan of the industry and having those expectations, realistically, it's obviously not do or die. Okay, like Microsoft could literally go into hiding when it comes to Xbox for like 2 or 3 years. People would hate that, but if they did that because they're only going to come back when they have like a bomb drop after bomb drop after bomb drop to show, then by that point no one's going to be thinking about the wait to get there. It's just, realistically speaking, Microsoft is going to be fine. But for me, and I'm just speaking for me, I'm not trying to speak for the Xbox fan base. Obviously, I'm not trying to speak for anybody but myself. My whole thing is you can't rush this stuff, obviously, but I'm not trying to condemn Microsoft for being late to the party, I guess you could say. But here's my issue. My issue with Xbox is not that these games are years away. Okay? That's not my issue. In fact, if we only were, I'm going to put it to you this way. If Microsoft only showed up to E3 with 4 games, like 4 bigger games, and they only showed gameplay for those 4 games, I'd be okay with that. Only if what they're showing is really good and impressive. That's the important thing that I want everybody to understand here is the most important factor to me is the quality factor. You say games like God of War and Horizon, they take a long time. Yes, they do, but here's the difference between Microsoft and Sony, and Microsoft still has yet to prove this. Again, I refer back to Halo Infinite last year and potentially Starfield this year, depending on how that game goes. It really comes down to the impact that these games are going to have. Because if they fail to impress, Sony's games do not fail to impress. Sony's games, to a lot of people, like they don't just impress. I mean, they leave people feeling like this is why we get excited. Like, this is it right here. This is what it's all about. That's what Sony's games do more often than not. And Microsoft just can't seem to do that with any of their games. And this is why I question, is it a management problem? Is it a culture problem potentially where it's like they just, because of Game Pass, because they're so focused on this single service, it's not that they don't care about quality at all, because obviously it's not like people in Microsoft or the Xbox division, it's not like they're walking around, it's not like Phil Spencer is walking around saying, hey guys, you can make your games as crappy as you want. We don't care. They're going in the Game Pass. He's not doing that. But what I mean is, like, does it kind of lower the bar where it's like, well, this Halo Infinite demo, this is fine. They'll be excited for it. I mean, the thing that they should be excited about is this game is going to launch on the Game Pass, so they should be excited for it. It's like, no, it's not. It's not good enough. Somebody should have looked at that demo and said, yeah, take this back. Come back next year. We'll show it off next year. It's got to look better than this, This doesn't look next gen. This is the stuff that Sony prioritizes that frankly Microsoft doesn't. And this is why I feel like this is the first year, honestly, truly, especially after hearing what Jeff Grubb had to say. I truly feel that this is the first year I cannot give Xbox the benefit of the doubt. I think this is the first year I'm going into their conference. Like, the only thing that I feel like could genuinely kind of shock me would be Starfield. But even then, I'm not a huge Bethesda game fan. So it's like, I'm mainly interested in the perspective of, like, how good does this actually look? Like, how does this look mediocre? Does this look like that big game that everybody's been waiting to see on Xbox's stage? That's what I'm going to be looking for. Josh, you're saying, will you stream the Dying Light 2 stream tomorrow? Probably not. I try to just keep it, to the big summer events, Sony, Microsoft. That's usually what I do here. You're asking me, is my background a poster or a green screen? I'll let you figure that out. I'll just keep... no, it's not a green screen. It's not a poster either. It's actually like a... I don't know what you'd call it. I know that there's a name for it. It's not a poster. It's like a cloth backdrop. It's not like a blanket either. Maybe somebody can tell me in the chat. I'm blanking on what it would be called, but Yeah, it's kind of like a curtain. Yeah, tapestry, wall scroll. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. That's pretty much what it is. Um, canvas, mural. Okay, you guys got a bunch of different names for it. There you go. Um, but yeah, like all in all, I feel like it would be unfair for me to act as if like there isn't anything that I'm looking forward to with Xbox's event. Um, I remember when I was watching Xbox's event last year, I really was. It's like it was a slow shock, if that makes sense. Whereas like it started with Halo, and Halo didn't even bother me that much because I'm not a big Halo fan. And what really kind of caught me off guard was how upset like everybody else was with Halo. Like I kind of was just like, well, this definitely doesn't look next gen. It's not that impressive. It just looks like Halo to me. I was definitely caught off guard by how not next gen it looked. And I was just like, well, okay, And then afterwards, I saw the reaction, and everybody was like, yo, this sucks. Like this looks like straight trash. And I'm like, whoa, man. Like I was I was a little bit surprised. Like, geez, the expectations for Halo were clearly much higher than even I was aware of. And what's interesting is that I'm removed from it. You know what I mean? I'm removed from the Halo fan base and what Halo really is. And it blows my mind that like again, people internally who are they're supposed to have their finger directly on the pulse of the Halo fan base, of the Xbox fan base, they seemingly were caught off guard as well. And I'm like, well, gee, like something's going wrong here, So I don't know, man. It's really tough. If you want predictions of mine, I'll give you some predictions here. And you know what? To be honest, we're probably going to do a part 2 of this stream. Probably a couple days before Xbox's actual event. I'm positive some stuff will leak out and we'll get more information. So I'll definitely do a part 2 to this stream. Magnum Visuals, you're saying it seems like the Bethesda acquisition was made more for timed exclusivity than ownership. Bethesda still can decide who they can publish to. So yeah, Matt Booty, who is the head of Microsoft's studios, he made it clear that, like you said, Bethesda remains completely autonomous when it comes to publishing, which is interesting because he didn't really divulge whether, like, is there kind of like a little caveat there where it's like you are completely autonomous with publishing except on competitive platforms. Then you have to talk to us about it. I'm going to assume that that's not what that means, but basically, I'm not expecting. Hold on, let me see here. I can't pronounce your name, buddy. MB is what I'll call you, saying MBG. Did you hear what Jeff said about Sony being scary? I didn't hear it. So if you want to tell me, MB, what he said, I'd be interested. And we have, let me see here. It's taking a second to pop up. I don't know. Okay, there we go. New Alpha, you're saying MBG about the CGI trailer. It's up to developers if they feel confident enough to put gameplay. Xbox can't force developers to put gameplay if they don't want to. Oh, no, don't get me wrong, dude. I'm not saying that it's the developer's fault. I actually totally agree with that. Like, you don't want to rush developers. But again, you're totally correct about that. But what this speaks to, do you see where does this all, what is the root of all of this is the question I'm asking. Where does it all end up kind of coming together? At what point? And I'm going to tell you, the management. That's what it comes down to. Because I'm not going to fault developers who want to take their time. I'm not going to fault developers who need more time, obviously. I'm going to fault the management, right? It's just like with Cyberpunk, like I don't blame the devs at all for that game, right? Like that's not their fault. That is the fault 100% entirely on upper management failing to do their job. They get paid the big bucks to make sure the ship is running smoothly and everything's running on time. That doesn't mean that you if they give you a deadline and developers are like, we need more time, that doesn't mean you're a bad manager if you say, okay, we'll give you more time. But where the problem comes in is if you have like 10 different teams, right? And they're all saying the same things. They're all saying, we need more time. It's not ready. Like, it's not ready. We need more time. It's kind of like, at that point, you got to ask yourself, maybe we built the wrong teams. Like, maybe there's just something, maybe the person who put these teams together in the first place was never very good at doing so, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? It's complicated. I'm not saying I could do a better job. I'm just saying this is where Sony has not just a leg up on Microsoft. This is the strong arm. This is the chokehold that Sony has Microsoft in. It's that Sony knows how to manage game developers. They know how to manage properly. They know when the right time to give more time is, and they know when it's unacceptable to do so. They know when to axe a project because it's just like, this isn't going to work, versus when to just basically keep funding a project to say, I mean, keep in mind, Microsoft canceled Scalebound, and I know that that's way in the past at this point, but it's like, that was a game that honestly, Microsoft should have done whatever they needed to make it happen. If it needed more time, it needed more money, it doesn't matter. If you needed to basically have somebody walk into Platinum Games and whip them, upright, be like, hey, you guys gotta focus on this game and get it done because we're paying you all this money to do so, then that's what you do. You know what I mean? Like, to whip them into shape. And Microsoft didn't do any of that. They're just like, you know what? Never mind. And you know what? They got condemned for that, rightfully so. And everybody's like, oh, it's just business. It's just business. And it's like, you're right, it is. But this is where, you cancel a game that's in development for years because of development problems, but yet you see a game like Crackdown 3 through to the end. A game that also had development problems, but I can assure you, Scalebound had so much more potential than Crackdown 3 ever did. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, this is where the people who were put in place to determine, this is why I have the utmost faith in Herman Hulst. This is why I think, for as much flack as Jim Ryan gets, he made the right call to appoint Herman Hulst as the individual who's going to determine which games are made for PlayStation and which games are not, which games get greenlit, which games don't, which games get axed and which games don't. I'm glad he picked Herman Hulst, because Herman Hulst, he's the person who came up with Horizon Zero Dawn, who made that a thing, who pitched that to Sony. And, if there was ever a person that I would want running the PlayStation side of things when it comes to, who's going to be in charge of picking and choosing games, it's Herman Hulst, And this is where I question Phil Spencer's ability. I really do. I questioned Phil Spencer and his, everybody thought like, oh, Phil's so great. Like, he's a gamer. It's like, it doesn't matter. He may have horrible taste in games. I mean, no offense against Destiny, but I think that's like his favorite game or something. And I'm like, I don't know that I would feel too great about, the person who is running the PlayStation division or the Xbox division, their favorite game is Destiny. Like, I mean, I get it, but I don't know, man. Like, this is where, and now Matt Booty apparently is in charge, and I don't even know what that guy's doing. This is, I'm going to say it right now. Say it right now. I'm not trying to talk badly about Destiny. I mean, Destiny has a following, and it has done a lot of great things and whatnot. Mr. Twister is saying, play the Jeff Grubb video. He mentions Sony at the end. I don't have the whole video clip in front of me, so I might not be able to do that. But I'm just trying to say that Phil Spencer was the one who was in charge for, of bringing all these games to the platform. And in my opinion, he failed. I really firmly believe that. When he was appointed the head of Xbox, before he got the seat at the big boy table at Microsoft, Phil Spencer was the one who was in charge of running first party. And I'm not saying it's an easy job, but again, this is why they get paid the big bucks. Because you have a lot of pressure to make the right decisions. You know, who's going to get the extra funding? Who's not? Who's going to, you know, who's going to ultimately get the extra pull internally? What games are going to get made? Which games are not? And I feel like Phil honestly failed that. And he failed but before he got promoted. And I don't, you know, Phil got promoted. A lot of people say, oh, he saved the Xbox brand. And it's like, you're right, he did. But do you know how he did it? He didn't do it with the Xbox console, that's for sure. He didn't do it with exclusive games, that's for sure. He did it by essentially telling the, you know, the Microsoft's CEO and the other upper executives at Microsoft, he did it by basically saying, hey guys, I know what you guys are about. You're about wide reach. So let me tell you this plan I got about Game Pass, about xCloud, about basically removing the Xbox console as the priority and just getting Xbox everywhere, and how we're gonna get 2 billion gamers. And it's like, I get that. Like, maybe that was necessary to ensure that the Xbox brand didn't get completely axed. But in doing so, it's like, now we have Matt Booty as the head of Xbox, and I think he's in the position where he gets to choose which games get made and which games don't. Bethesda remains completely autonomous, so whatever we've seen from Bethesda is what we're going to continue to see now that they're under Xbox. I don't know, man. I don't, to be honest, I feel like I don't know what to expect from Xbox this year. I really don't. You know, if you were to ask me how I'm feeling, I'm going to say I don't know, because I want to believe, oh, they're going to bring it this year. They have to, right? Like, we're going to see Hellblade 2 gameplay. We're going to see Starfield, and Starfield's going to blow everybody away, and Halo's going to redeem itself, and it's not going to be Craig 2.0, you know? Like, this is what I want to believe. I want to believe, like, we're going to see some State of Decay 3, maybe another new game announcement, a new IP of some sort, and maybe we will, but I'm just feeling like, but will we? Are we going to see that? Is that how, like, it's been so many years of just disappointment. It's kind of like, I really don't know how else to feel about it, you know? Anthony, you're saying really excited for the State of Play stream tomorrow on the new PC. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. I'm very much looking forward to how this PC is going to handle that stream. I think it'll handle it. Well, I mean, right now I'm streaming at 1080p 60, and it says it's using up, you know, less than 2% of my CPU right now. You know, I think my PC will handle it just fine. Samson, you're saying Sean Layden, Days Gone, Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Returnal, Miles Morales, Demon's Souls remake, Final Fantasy VII remake. Just saying, yeah, that's true. You know what? You're right. I'm failing to give credit where credit is due, and Sean Layden was responsible for, I would assume, the overwhelming majority, if not all of those games. And he seemed to have a very good understanding of the type of experiences that PlayStation fans wanted. I want to remind you guys of something talking about Sean Layden. And this is not, look, I thought Sean was great, and I obviously would be great to see him back at PlayStation, but it is what it is. And this is nothing against him. I'm just simply letting you know. Do you guys remember that one of the last interviews that Sean Layden had with when he was with PlayStation was he was asked about AAA games? And he was asked his opinion on, like, should they get bigger? Should they be bigger? And he had a pretty candid response, and I am definitely paraphrasing pretty much all of this, but he essentially said that games are getting too big and too expensive, and that they need to be shorter, and that's pretty much his stance. Like, they need to make games shorter, more, like, I guess you could say less AAA. And I'm not going to lie to you, like, I don't agree with that. And it's interesting because after Sean leaves, right? And he's no longer part of Sony, then suddenly we see this massive shift where Sony's like, hey, you guys like the AAA games you're getting? Well, buckle up, because they're going to get even bigger and even better. And then suddenly that led to the fear recently that, oh, that means they're all going to be the same then. And they're like, no, that doesn't mean they're going to be the same. And this is where I'm not saying that Sean, would have messed things up. I'm not trying to, I know that's how, like, seems like what I'm implying. I'm just saying he was the guy who was talking about maybe lowering the cost of AAA game production, and by doing so, making them shorter and smaller in size. And maybe that would be a better idea. What's weird is we kind of are already seeing that with Sony, right? Sony is making experiences like Miles Morales, and like we saw with Uncharted Lost Legacy. So they can exist, obviously. Joshua, you're saying the wait for E3 rally cry has almost spanned an entire console generation in time scale at this point. I have gone from tepid to skeptic over the years. Yeah, man. I mean, I know I keep getting off track and talking about PlayStation. Let's go check what's going on Twitter over here. Twitter universe. Maybe we can find something interesting. Pop Tarts is advertising, so that's cool. Got a picture of Abby there. Dude, just real quick, just because of this picture of Abby popped up, do you remember, because she's holding the hammer, do you remember when that first trailer of Abby released and no one knew who she was, and we thought that it was Ellie's mother? Good times. Undead Labs. So still waiting to hear from them. Okay, Microsoft and Bethesda expected to reveal 5. Oh, okay. See, this is why I'm glad here we go. You guys ready? Microsoft and Bethesda expected to reveal 5 completely new first-party AAA games this summer, Microsoft Insider says. Okay, you know what? It's a fight for the insiders, with the insiders. Which insider am I going to believe? Which insider is going to be right? And more importantly, how is it going to alter my expectations? So let's read this. I want to go check this article out. We'll do this live. Okay, so this is coming from WCCF Tech. Microsoft and Bethesda are expected to reveal 5 entirely new first-party AAA games this summer. At least that's what reputable German Microsoft insider Klobrille wrote in a thread about Microsoft's Xbox Game Studios on the Xbox Era forums some hours ago. We all know that during I don't want to keep saying Xbox. Microsoft's Xbox Series X showcase back in July of last year, 4 new upcoming titles were announced, including Avowed, Fable, Forza Motorsport, and State of Decay 3. However, this year, the insider writes that he believes he already knows about 5 entirely new AAA titles for Microsoft's first-party studios. Some of these titles are said to be expected, while some are less so. Klobrille points out at this point, plans for the announcements are still shifting. Plans are still fluctuating. No, at the end of the day, I think it is a fair expectation that gameplay trailers and or demos should have a bigger presence, at least for the already announced things coming this year. So, okay, I mean, maybe a bit of a misleading headline. Not very misleading, but he seems to be ending it by saying the same thing Jeff Grubb is. Now, look, do I believe all these Xbox insiders, they have like a pact together where they're like, all right, it's our job to underplay Microsoft's conference. Are they getting like packages from Microsoft that are detailing them and telling them, the Xbox Insider Package 2021, where it's like, here's what you're going to say in the weeks leading up to the Xbox conference, and now they're at that part of the spreadsheet where it's like, now you're going to downplay our conference so people don't get their expectations too high. I'm kidding, of course, but it's interesting because he's seemingly saying the same thing that Jeff Grubb is in more or less that's what he's saying. So let me get this straight. So he says plans are still fluctuating though. At the end of the day, I think it is a fair expectation that gameplay trailers and or demos should have a bigger presence. So, with that line right there, it sounds to me like these new games that he may be talking about, these 5 new games, completely new, he's making it sound like if we do see them, they're also going to be CG trailers, right? Like that's kind of what he's making it sound like. By the way, guys, if you could do me a favor, we have over 1,000 people here hanging out. Please do me a big favor and just hit that like button. I would really appreciate that. It helps the streams out a lot. Let me see. Dirt 5 has added the Xbox Series X fridge to its custom arena creator mode as part of the Power Your Memes pack for the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members. See, this is what I'm talking about, man. People are always talking trash about Game Pass and the benefits, and it's like, look at what they're getting. They're getting a Power Your Memes pack for, Game Pass Ultimate members are getting this. Come on. I want that. I want that fridge inside my games. Okay, so really quick before we move on, what do you guys think of this? I want to ask the chat right now. Please let me know what you think about this insider Klobrille claiming that Microsoft is expected to reveal 5 completely new first-party games. And the question I want to ask is not whether you think it's going to happen or not, because I feel like, yeah, it could happen. Anything is possible, right? My question to you guys is this. How would you feel if these 5 games were all CG trailers and not like there was like no gameplay whatsoever? They're just CG. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm kind of over the CG trailers. My greatest fear, if you want to know my greatest fear, is during Xbox E3 2021, they were somehow like Microsoft. I don't. This is just if you want to like talk about like worst case scenario, and you see MBG have a meltdown. It's like there's a CG trailer for a Metal Gear Solid game that's exclusive to Xbox. Dude, I would be so. I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel like maybe somewhere deep down that would be a little bit better than Konami doing nothing with the Metal Gear Solid IP. But that would be so sad, man. Because I'm getting nervous at this point. Like, how many CG trailers can you have? And what games are we talking about here? Now, they're saying they're first-party AAA games. So you're going to say, well, there's no way. You're saying I thought Crackdown was when I had my meltdown. Yeah, it was. But this would be a little bit different. This would be a little bit different for sure. I mean, look, man. I was gonna make a video today, and one of the things I was gonna talk about in that video was how Konami's producer said that they have more projects that are coming up that are outsourced. So Konami's been going around, man, and it's very clear, in my opinion, that Konami is licensing out Metal Gear, Castlevania, potentially Silent Hill. They're licensing this out. Who's getting it? Who's getting it? I don't want to see Xbox get any of it. And you want to know why? I genuinely don't feel that pretty much any of their studios could do any of those IP justice. Any of the studios that would be available to make an IP or make a game using that IP. I feel like the most capable studio for like something like Silent Hill maybe could be maybe Ninja Theory, but they're already, working on something, obviously. So let's keep it rolling here. We have Nick. You're saying, hey, I just joined, so I don't know if you've talked about this yet, but I think VR be a possibility. They hinted at it years ago, so maybe. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I would not be excited for Xbox VR because Sony already did it. You know what I mean? I feel like it would be great. And the one thing I would be excited about is this would mean competition for Sony in the VR space would heat up, much more so than it already is. But I don't know. I mean, it's a possibility, man. I think Microsoft made it pretty clear that they're not going to be doing, any type of first-party VR. And then we have Sir Speaks a Lot. You're saying if they're showing gameplay from 5 new games, then there's a high chance that these games are probably indie games. They can't say new and show Halo. I don't know, man. He specifically said AAA Xbox games, so I guess it depends on what your definition of AAA is. Jerome, MBG stands for Muscle Bound Gamer. I was a little bit more muscle bound when I made this name, but that's what it stands for. So you don't have to keep spamming that, buddy. Let's keep it rolling. Let's see what else maybe we may have missed out on. So we have E3 hyping up Xbox's E3 conference. Just seeing if there's anything else coming out. These ads are annoying on Twitter. So we're going to be getting Ratchet and Clank soon. How are you guys feeling about that? JDTV, you're saying, I just hope EA shows the new Battlefield. Oh, yeah, dude. They will. I'm definitely interested in the new Battlefield. 100%. Oh, yeah. Okay. Did you guys see this? Did you guys see this image right here? 2 seconds of footage was shown of the Uncharted movie. So Tom Holland in the back here is supposed to be Nathan Drake, a younger Nathan Drake, which I can definitely see that. But Mark Wahlberg is supposed to be Sully. First of all, where's the mustache? Second of all, how am I supposed to believe Mark Wahlberg is Sully? In no realm is that a thing. That's crazy. I got to see the trailer, man. I feel like when we see the first Uncharted movie trailer, we're going to know immediately, oh, this is either going to be hot trash or this actually maybe could be good. We're going to find out. Let's see here. I'm not seeing really anything of significance right now. So maybe we can... Okay, so... Yeah, again, people were talking about this Unreal Engine 5 demo, and they're like not realizing, like, guys, it's a separate demo. It looks impressive for sure, but dude, Ratchet and Clank is going to be amazing. So... okay, we got another one here from WCCF Tech, and then we also have my post beneath that. Star Speaks Light saying, I can't see Mark smoking a Cuban cigar like a boss. I cannot see him bringing Sully to life on the big screen at all. Darren, you're saying Star Wars, Indiana Jones, MGS, Forza 5, and Wolfenstein 3. Stop, dude. Don't mess with me with the MGS thing, all right? No, everything else you just said, fine. I don't care. They can have Star Wars. They can have Indiana Jones. Wolfenstein 3, sure, that'll be a thing, but don't touch Metal Gear. I don't ever want to see Xbox touch Metal Gear. Only Sony can, as far as I'm concerned. All right, let me click this here. Let's see what else WCCF Tech is saying. So Xbox and Bethesda E3 showcase scheduled will feature 90 minutes, so it's going to be an hour and a half. E3 2021 is rapidly approaching, and this year Microsoft is taking part in the digital proceedings with the full live stream, so it'll be June 13th. I guess Jeff Grubb was right on this one. As the name implies, the Xbox and Bethesda showcase will focus heavily on what Microsoft's biggest gaming acquisition is planning. Here's what Microsoft describes. Here's how Microsoft describes the event. You've told us how excited you are about welcoming Bethesda into the Xbox family, so we know you're going to want a front row seat to the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase, a 90-minute show packed with everything you want to know about Epic Gaming, the Epic Gaming lineup coming out of this partnership, the incredible games coming this holiday, upcoming releases on Xbox Game Pass, and more. So there's definitely a heavy emphasis here on games coming this holiday and upcoming releases for Xbox Game Pass. So yeah, let me bring this back up to the top here. I don't think there's really much else that's going to be coming out. Anything of significance here anyway. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, guys. Let's go see. Let me see here. I want to go see what people are saying. What are people saying about Xbox's E3? Okay, so don't mind me, Xbox, just here to watch the dramatic console war arguments performed by children. See, I hate people that talk like this. And don't get me wrong, there are definitely overly dramatic console war people, and I get annoyed because people try to group me into that, and it's like, dude, and this is to anybody. Just because you want Xbox to do good and show exciting things, and you get upset when they don't because they seemingly consistently underdeliver, like that doesn't make you dramatic or a console war person or like some kind of fanboy, saying he called you out. Yeah, I don't know about that, man. But it's funny because with posts like this, like, yeah, you're definitely going to see some ridiculous stuff, some ridiculous responses. Could you see Al Pacino playing Sully? I think he's too old at this point, though. I could, maybe. I mean, it would be hard. Somebody said Jeff Bridges would play. He's also pretty old now as well, but Jeff Bridges would play a good Sully. I could see that. Lost to Odyssey remaster is the only thing we want. Scrap Halo and Starfield and put those devs to work on that groundbreaking JRPG. This person here is extremely excited for Halo. I mean, all right. I get that. It will be Xbox's biggest W ever if we see New Vegas. Dude, come on. I mean, why do people... I'm not saying New Vegas 2 won't happen. It's just, you guys realize, like, this stuff is so far away. It's not even worth keeping in your mind right now. It's not. Surprisingly, these are not, like, I haven't seen any toxic comments so far, which is surprising. Okay, they're going to be watching Gears 6. No, I think the coalition made it clear they're not going to be announcing anything anytime soon. Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch are all good consoles. Can we get a sneak peek? Oh, I'm with the Rad Brat on this one. He says Evil Within 3, please. Yes, please. Evil Within 3, for sure. I'm with him on that one. Let's see what else. Eyes, okay. It seems like people are... Games? Yeah. Seems like people are definitely feeling pretty excited. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think this E3, like, the more I think about it, I think it's going to be all about Halo, mostly Halo. I really do think that. In terms of like the main focus, I think people are expecting the main focus to be Starfield. I don't think so. Not yet. Not yet. I think Starfield will be the main focus of next year's. I'm not gonna lie. I thought the replies in this thread were gonna be a little bit, more interesting than this, but it just seems like everybody's looking forward to it. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if they did something where like people can't leave nasty comments or something. I don't know. Not that I'm looking for nasty comments, but I'm shocked. Like everything's looking good here. Like nothing nothing snarky. It's a little weird. Yeah. Seems like everybody's generally excited for Halo. And not just Halo, but their conference. So, I mean, all right. I thought that there would be some more saying it's a little toxic right now. Maybe. Will PlayStation have their own event? I mean, how could they not? How could they not? How could PlayStation not have their own event? All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to stretch first, okay? And I'm going to... We're gonna test my stream out while also reacting to something, I guess. So I'm gonna put this up here for just a second. Don't worry, I'm still here. I'm just gonna check something out for a second, get everything sorted. Okay, so they're not live anymore. Let me go to... I want to find something that I can... He says you really have to stream looking for hate comments on Xbox's post. What the F is wrong with you? No. I'm not looking for hate posts. I'm saying like it's shocking to me that there's like nothing, like it's all clean, dude. Like it's all clean. Like who expects that, you know? I don't expect that. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring up I'm going to look up something related to Returnal for just a moment here. No, you know what? We don't have to do Returnal. We could do something Xbox related. So we could do infinite gameplay. Let's see what comes up here. Looking for the demo from Xbox's channel specifically. They troll you, MBG. Yeah, I know they do. All right, here we go. Let me bring this up. All right, so I want to test this out. I love how it's literally recommending my own stream to me. Interesting. Let me remove this now. All right, I'm going to try to just test this out and see how it goes. I think this is a little bit different than live streaming. Like, you know, like we're going to live stream the actual event tomorrow, but let's see how this goes. So I have it at 1440p 60. Let's see. Oh, I gotta, you know what? Hold on. Let me fix that. It's zoomed in. Saying watch someone's Twitch. I know PlayStation was streaming earlier, so I was thinking about doing that, but I have to reduce the size here a little bit. So give me just a second to. No, that's the wrong one. All right, yeah, here we go. I gotta reduce it. All right, so it might be a little zoomed in, but I just want to see if it's gonna stream smoothly. Shouldn't be too zoomed in.
Am I dead already? I must be. I mean, this is a punishment, right?
The audio good?
Yep, this is death. No. This isn't happening.
Ryan Plays, you're saying if Xbox really delivers this E3, all Sony has to do is drop 15-minute gameplay of the next God of War. Also, how do you like the new Deacon custom pick? I like it, dude. It looks good. You can see it right now. It looks good.
No. I can't stand this.
It's a little zoomed in. Obviously, it won't be like that tomorrow, but...
You don't get to tell me what to do. You don't get to tell me anything. We're...
Saying shrink my camera. Yeah, I'll definitely have to make my camera a little bit smaller. We'll,
What?
we'll make all those adjustments tomorrow.
I'll be safe.
We'll have plenty of time to do so.
Safe? I haven't been safe since I found you.
So is it again, this is my first time streaming at 60 FPS, so is it coming through smoothly? Everything's good?
I was going home.
There won't be a home if we don't stop the banished.
You keep saying that. We're outgunned, outnumbered.
Saying it's smooth.
I know I saw condors over there. I'm going to dig through them and find one with the working sleep space drive. And when you're done with this war, we'll get away from here. Far away.
So maybe I can, anybody in the chat who may know, I'm currently doing this under window capture. Do you think I should do display capture this time around? Since it's, I don't know, my PC's way more powerful. Or should I just probably stick with window capture? I'm thinking I should just stick with window capture.
Okay, big guy.
He's saying it looks worse than you remember. Yeah, I mean, when I'm looking at this now, and I remember, like, when they showed this for the first time. It's a Sebastian, you're saying Hellblade, Halo, Starfield, Forza, and I'll be happy. Yeah, I mean, I really want to see Hellblade. Saying the video resolution dropped. It might be because it's zoomed in on your end. I do want to fix that. I do want to fix that because I need to figure it out for sure. I don't know why it's doing that. Pause on Craig. You're saying the gameplay video used to have more dislikes. New Alpha, you're saying, I just want to say this real quick. If you're sick of waiting, shut the F up and go to Sony. Game development takes time, and Microsoft realized around 2016 to 2017 they need studios. Unlike Sony, they invested early on. That's how it works. Well, look, man. I mean, I appreciate the super chat, New Alpha, but you got to understand, dude, that like, you know, not everybody's gonna have. Just like you're free to have the feeling you do about Xbox, where it's like, oh, it's gonna take time, and you're willing to be patient, and you're willing to wait, and that's fine. But dude, like, you have to understand that not everybody, and I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people are not gonna feel that way. A lot of people are gonna feel like we've been waiting, and we don't want to wait anymore, you know. And if I'm simply trying to say that there are going to be those who are gonna say, hey, we'll wait, and it's okay. And then there are going to be those who say, we've been waiting, we're done waiting, where are the goods? It's time to deliver, okay? So if you're okay with waiting, then that's fine. But I can only speak for myself, man. Appreciate the super chat, though, by the way. The sound on the video is too loud. All right. Yeah, that is showing up pretty loud on my end. Definitely don't need it that loud. All right, so it seems to be going smoothly for you guys, which is good. Oops. I don't know why I dropped this down. See, why does it do that? I don't know why it automatically drops it down to 480p. Like, it's going to be annoying as hell if it does that all during the stream. Saying it drops based on connection. That's so dumb, dude. Like, I tested I have a wired connection, and I tested it, and it said that I have like, what, 850 gigabytes download and like 900 upload. So that's pretty dumb. Saying take it off auto resolution. Maybe that, yeah, maybe that's what I have it set up that way. Is that a thing that YouTube even has, auto resolution? Does it look a little bit better now that I put it up to 1080p though? 1080p 60. In case you guys can't tell, I'm a little bit nervous. Like, I just want to make sure my stuff's good to go for tomorrow's stream.
The UNSC lost this war months ago. Your people
Somebody's saying there's a...
broken, scattered, hunted, defeated by me. I wish I could tell you it was difficult, but it wasn't. We are one.
This part made me cringe.
Always. The ring.
like the speech this dude gives.
Soon, the auditorium is
All right, let's go.
the Harbinger and the Banished. Share the
Okay,
same.
okay, we get it. All right. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna bring this up for a second again while I navigate all this. Let me go to go to PlayStation's YouTube. What should we watch? We'll watch one more thing. What do you guys think? Call Michael Does Life via Skype? Nah, that's okay, dude. I'm okay. Hellblade, Knack, Demon Souls. Do a bandwidth test. Hold on, let me. All right, run speed test. I'm running it right now. All right, I'll let you know what it says when it's finished. Saying due to Last of Us 2, Final Fantasy 16. So right now my download is 818 megabytes per second. And it's calculating my upload now. My upload is 900 megabytes per second. So that's where everything's at. Oh, you know what? I don't know why I keep doing this. I can put... Yeah, I don't know why I have that, but... the Horizon Forbidden West trailer. You know what? I mean, we could do the Unreal Engine 5. Unreal. The Furious, you're saying also cringe, lol. How it gave fans goosebumps. I don't know, man. I wasn't sold on it. I feel like I want to... Trying to find that. Okay, so let's check this out together. The Unreal Engine 5. So it's not at 60 FPS, but it's at 1080p. So we should be able to do this. So let's give it a shot.
Hi, I'm Chance Ivy, Senior Technical Designer at Epic Games.
And I'm Galen Davis, producer and evangelist for Quixel at Epic Games.
Last summer, we revealed the first look at what's coming in Unreal Engine 5, the next generation of our real-time technology, and our demo, Lumen in the Land of Nanite.
You guys are saying put it in
Since then,
4K.
the
I'm not.
Engine team has been working
My stream is
hard on
capped at
preparing
1080p.
tools and technology
I'm not going to
creators
attempt to
around
stream
the
in
world to get their
4K.
hands on, so
I
we're
think that
building
would just
tools
eat
and
up
new
too much
features and provide
bandwidth
us with
too
feedback.
quickly. I probably
Just a
could
few
stream at
months ago,
4K if
we
I wanted to,
assembled a
though,
small
between
team
my
of
wired
developers
connection
to see what they
and
could build using
this
these new
PC. But
features.
I'll keep it at
The
1080p
result
60
is a
for
new
now.
practical sample project called Valley of the Ancient. Today we're excited to give you the very first hands-on
Should
look
we
at some of the new
do?
tools and workflows that we
Should
use
we
to
watch
build it.
this directly
Now,
from
we've got a lot to get to, so let's get started.
like the Unreal Engine 5 demo itself? It says it's captured on Series X, or should we watch Digital Foundry's breakdown of it?
When setting out to make our demo,
You guys let me
we wanted
know.
to push the
Stay on
boundaries of
here
what's
or
possible with UE5
go watch
today,
Digital
while
Foundry.
targeting next-gen hardware specifications. Here are sequences running in real time on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X.
Saying your screen
Okay,
is
welcome
too
to the brand
big.
new UI in
I don't know
Unreal
why
Engine
it's
5.
doing that.
While a lot of the same features and functionality that you've come to know in UE4 are
All right,
still
a lot of you are
present in
saying
the UI,
do Digital
we've added
Foundry.
several new systems.
All right. Hold on. All right, let me I'll go get Digital Foundry. And I'll actually fix the screen too. No, wait, that's the wrong one. Whatever, I'll fix it in a minute. Let's go. Where's Digital Foundry? Of course, they're not going to show up. I think they uploaded the video not too long ago. Here it is.
That will really sell the.
Pause that. Let me. Where did they go up to? Okay, so they have it at 1080-60. All right. Just raise the volume a little bit for a DF. Yeah. Raise it a little bit. Okay. So I have to adjust this, apparently. This is like, I did fit to screen, and it like wouldn't work for some reason. So I don't know. I don't know why it's doing that. Why is it doing that? That's so weird. Darren, you're saying Halo gunplay is still better than The Last of Us 2? Well, I mean, it should be, right? You would hope so. Oh, I know what you mean now, dude. I know what you're saying. Let me adjust my screen a little bit. Hopefully this should be better when we go full screen. All right, let me...
Epic Games has released a new demo and explanation video for Unreal Engine 5 and also released an early access build on the Epic Games launcher and Unreal Engine GitHub for users to test out themselves on PC. To talk about this new information and video they put out, I'm joined by my friend and colleague, John Linneman. How you doing there, John?
Pretty good, Alex. It's very nice to see more Unreal Engine 5. It's been a little over a year, I guess, since we last saw new stuff from it. We know developers are starting to use this or target this, and I guess it sounds like we'll probably start seeing games in the next year or so, maybe.
Yeah.
But either way, this is more development stuff here that they're showing. It's not so much directed towards the gaming audience, but I think it reveals a lot of potential interesting elements that we will actually see in games going forward. So what's the first thing you want to talk about today?
Before we get directly into the video themselves, I do want to recap slightly, actually, what made Unreal Engine 5 so interesting when it was shown off a year ago, and we kind of looked at it in some dedicated videos and also had an interview on the Eurogamer website covering it. The first thing
you're saying resolution seems to be dropping,
Nanite, which is
MBG, it's losing clarity.
To virtualize geometry and get
it's because it automatically went back to 480.
How close the camera gets to it.
I don't, dude. I'm gonna have to figure out if that's a setting or something that keeps doing that.
This is something that has
because I definitely don't want that to happen tomorrow.
Like a holy grail.
Yep.
The second aspect.
You guys can keep me on my toes here. Let me know every time you see it.
Software ray tracing.
I manually adjust it too.
Indirect lighting to objects on the screen in real time. So no light map baking, and also not using hardware ray tracing. So it's not tracing triangles like you'd see with RTX GPUs or, you know, like the hardware ray tracing we see on consoles, but rather traces other.
Go into your YouTube settings and select full quality. All right, yeah, I'll do that after the stream.
Geometry on screen, like voxels or sign distance fields, and even smaller.
I never even knew that was a thing.
Like the close part of the frame, like the character, is done with screen space tracing, like SSGI.
This, honestly, Alex, I think is the thing we're most curious about to see how it actually compares, because I still think triangle-based ray tracing is probably more flexible and similarly performant, but again, we don't really know for sure how well that Lumen will actually work within the context of a game yet. So
precisely,
that remains to be seen. But I think we'll probably see a mix of both solutions this generation and others, perhaps. So
it should be really interesting to see what ends up happening there. But
did I buy an entire new PC? I did, yeah.
On hand here, and essentially, there's a couple of new things that are in this video that we did not get to see before, or really didn't know about before. And I think the first interesting one, I think a lot of viewers are going to be interested in, is that we saw UE5 running on Xbox Xbox Series X, whereas before we only saw it running on PlayStation 5.
Which is funny because there was actually a subset of people trying to claim that it would only work on one and not the other, and vice versa, and all that kind of stuff. But come on, guys. Of course, it's going to work on all the new platforms, and potentially older ones. I think Epic has said. Although I'll be curious.
So I do want to say real quick, because somebody keeps saying there's frames dropping. Can anybody else confirm this, or is this dude just trolling? Are there frame drops? I mean, and if so, are they like bad, or is it just a couple? I don't, because everything seems fine on my end. Saying no. Little laggy, there stutters, no frame drops here. No, wow, no. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's trolling. Pretty sure people are trying to troll. They know that I'm anxious about my stream performance, but the thing is, I can see on my end as well, and on my end, it's saying it's perfectly fine. So honestly, if it's messing up for you, it might, at this point, it might be your connection. But what they just said here, how there's like a small subsect of people last year with the PS5 Unreal Engine 5 demo saying that it couldn't run on the Series X. I mean, honestly, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that there were very few people actually saying that. Unreal Engine is a multi-platform engine. I'm pretty sure everybody knows this. And we even knew, like, when this demonstration came out last year, that it's an engine that's being built for all platforms to use, even mobile. You know, so I don't think it was that anybody was saying that, hey, Unreal Engine 5 can't run on the Xbox Series X. What people were saying is that they believe that the demo that we saw last year, Unreal Engine 5 on PS5, that could not run on an Xbox Series X. And honestly, I believe that. I believe that demo was handcrafted to take advantage of the speed of the PlayStation 5, to kind of push it and see how far they could take it and what it could achieve, the I/O throughput. So yeah, let's keep watching this a little bit. I'm not going to go much longer here though, guys, but we'll watch a little bit more of this
to see what that means for performance.
That'd be pretty different. We also get to see, as a part of this, UE5 running directly in editor, I presume on a PC, because there's like a mouse and other things like that. One really interesting part about this UE5 video and what just happened today, or when I'm recording this with John right now, is that they released the kind of preview version right now on PC. You can get it. Try it out for yourself. We haven't come to do that just yet because we're going to wait till we could spend a little bit more time with it. We don't have the time right now to do it, but essentially we're going to have a pretty good understanding of how Unreal Engine 5 runs across different hardware very soon.
We have a super chat here. New Alpha, you're saying, excuse me, hey MBG, quick question. Instead of you blaming Microsoft for not having games like God of War, why don't you tell the studios that? Because Microsoft's job is to cover them financially. That's pretty much it. Well, dude, real quick before I continue this, I gotta be honest with you, man. Again, I appreciate the super chat, buddy, but I'm gonna have to give it to you straight right now. The truth is, Microsoft's job is not just to financially support the studios. You have to understand there's basically leadership roles, as we discussed earlier in the stream, and I'm not saying that Microsoft needs to make their own God of War or their own Horizon Zero Dawn or whatever. What I'm saying is that they should be able, especially by this point, they should have been able to produce at least a couple of games that are on that same quality level. And people have always referred to, Gears of War. Gears of War games review good. They're good, but it's like you're going to try to compare Gears 5 to Horizon or Ghost of Tsushima or God of War or Uncharted. It's a good game and it's fine, but like, come on, and you have to understand, dude, that there has been a problem at Microsoft when it comes to managing studios. And, one of the things with with Sony is they know how to get talent on board, man. You know, I think it was David Jaffe who said, really quick, Laman, you're saying list of studios you think Sony could buy. I'll answer that in a second. I think it was David Jaffe who said that this is what developers love about Sony is that, you know, they don't just promise you a trip to the moon, you know, or whatever. They promise you that, but they also help you build the ship that will get you there, you know, and that's the thing here. That's the thing that we need to understand is that it's not just Microsoft's job to throw money at everything and to support. I mean, Microsoft is obviously supporting Xbox financially. Why do you think they were able to buy Bethesda for $7.5 billion? But it's Phil Spencer's job, it's Matt Booty's job, and everybody else there who's, you know, at a higher up position, the leadership positions. It's their job to put the right people in the right places to find and secure the right talent and to basically keep everything going the way it needs to. You know, and it's like, well, if a studio makes a bad game or a studio fails to make a really impressive game because it's just clear that they're mediocre and they don't have the talent, right? If that's the case, then at that point, you got to make changes. Somebody needs to, you know, figure out how do you find that talent? How do you go secure that talent? You know, it's like, you look at that studio, The Initiative, they're working on a Perfect Dark reboot. They got a lot of talent on board there. And one of the talented individuals they got was Drew Murray, who was formerly of Insomniac Games. And after 2 years of him being there, he's like, you know what? I'm going back to Insomniac Games. And, you know, we don't know why that is, but, you know, it seems like there's like a development culture thing over at Microsoft where it's so different from Sony. And I think that development culture is obvious. I think you can literally see it in the final product. I really do. And yeah, there's not much more I can say about it, man. I mean, again, I do appreciate the super chat, but it's like, dude, I'm not just blaming Microsoft. Like, I'm not sitting here blaming Xbox or making it sound like Xbox is terrible and they just suck and that's end of discussion. No, this whole discussion is because, well, what do they need to do to get better? And are they doing those things? And, you know, I'm sorry, like anybody who's going to come at me and say, but you got to wait. Like, no, I'm not going to wait for anything, dude. I'm going to speak my mind right now in the moment based off of what I see and what we are all seeing, right? And I'll tell you, you know, if you think for a second that if Xbox has a really great E3 and they actually blow people away, if they show some great stuff, if you think I'm going to walk away being like, well, it wasn't that good, or that sucked. Like, you kidding me? No, like I'm going in. I want to be impressed. I want to be blown away. I want to be excited about what Xbox is going to offer. So hopefully that's that. And as for the other super chat, I think Sony at this point is insane if they don't buy Housemarque. I think that they need to buy Bluepoint. I think they're already insane for not purchasing Bluepoint, but they need to buy Bluepoint and Housemarque. End of discussion. They need to acquire these two studios. That's my opinion.
Use that to extrapolate to see what it might be running like on console. But that's something for the future, something we really can't do right now.
Another thing, though, that here that's interesting is that we got a sort of a look at Unreal's new iteration of the TAA upsampler.
Yeah,
So this is something that's worked fairly well in Unreal Engine 4 as is. But when compared against something like, say, DLSS 2.1 in the future...
you know what, actually, I'm not going to lie, this is boring me a little bit, guys, only because I'm not in the mindset for this. I just kind of wanted to use this to test the stream. The Furious are saying Sony fosters and nurtures talent, Microsoft buys it. Exactly. I got one last little rant I'm going to give you guys here. See, somebody in the chat, they're like, oh, 1080p Returnal. You think it's funny that Returnal's at 1080p? I mean, that's fine, dude. It's a game that's reviewing great on Metacritic. People love it. People are praising it. People are surprised by it. That's fine, dude, because, you know, it's shocking to me. It's shocking to me. And this actually plays into the last little rant I want to go on here because I want to ask you guys real quick. You're saying you forgot to read his donation. Who did I forget? Laman. No. I didn't forget it, man. I didn't forget it. He was asking me which studios I want Sony to buy, and I said Housemarque and Bluepoint, and maybe Kojima Productions if possible. But I got one little. I don't want to say it's a rant. It's not a rant, but it's more of a. I'm genuinely curious. Like, so there were the two big issues last year, like I said, with Xbox's event. Just to bring this full circle once again. Let me get out of this, by the way. I'm not going to be watching any more of this. I'm just going to put this layout up here. The two questions that I have, the one question I have is, do you think we're actually going to see, because, watching this Unreal Engine 5 demo, it kind of got me wondering, like, one of the biggest problems last year was people were like, holy crap, Halo Infinite does not look next gen at all. Like, we have been lied to. Like, 12 T-flops, Tower Power? What? Saying if a game is fun, 1080 means nada. Returnal is fun. Well, you are 100% right about that, dude. But the problem here is, like, Returnal looks really, really good. By the way, guys, I got past Biome 3 today. Talk more about that on my podcast. That'll be coming up on Sunday. But I did get past it. And, dude, I played Returnal for hours this morning, and it looks great, dude. Like, I'm not saying it looks as good as, like, Demon Souls or something, but it looks great. But my question is, Microsoft are literally creating a brand new engine, not mooching off of Epic like Sony does. Dude, I hate to break it to you. Microsoft is using Unreal Engine 5 way more than Sony is. Sony's actually creating their own engines. They created the Decima engine. Sony Santa Monica has their own engine. Apparently, Sony's in the process of creating a new engine, the Soho engine or something like that. So come on, dude. Like, come on. Chill out. Saying you think I forgot the Furious' super chat? I can double check now, actually. Okay, that's actually not going to help me at all. I didn't keep track of the super chats for some reason, which is disappointing. I don't think I did, though. I'm pretty sure I got it. But that's the question I have for you guys before I go. Are we fine? We've been hearing from, a certain portion of the Xbox fan base. Not that it matters that much, because, guys, it's true. A good game is a good game is a good game. Doesn't matter what resolution it's at. Doesn't matter. I mean, in my opinion, like, if a game were to come out that's like below HD resolution, that is unacceptable in my opinion. But, that's not going to happen. I'm just saying people like good games more than anything else. So do you guys think Microsoft is actually going to show a game that looks next gen? Because I'm going to tell you right now, Sony, they show you Demon's Souls. They show you Spider-Man Miles Morales. Both extremely impressive right out of the gate. Right out of the gate when it comes to being impressed with visuals. Kevin, you're saying, don't forget Sony just poured a minority stake of cash into Epic. Oh, yeah, I know, dude. I know. Sony knows what they're doing. But, Sony comes out with... they come out with Demon's Souls, Spider-Man, then we get Returnal, then we get Ratchet and Clank. Guys, you know how people are like, oh my God, look at how good Ratchet and Clank looks. What do you think's going to happen tomorrow? We talked about this on the last podcast, and somebody literally super chatted me, and because we were talking about the Horizon Forbidden West trailer that came out. The first, it's the only one, but, people were looking at this and they're like, is this what this game's going to look like on PS5? Because people are like, it looks too good. It looks too good. There's no way. Somebody on my last podcast said that they would literally eat their shoe if it looks that good. They just don't believe it. And I'm not going to lie. I'm skeptical myself because I'm like, that's like next level looking, like good looking. Okay. What I'm trying to say is like, where is that from Microsoft? We're talking about E3. We're talking about delivering. I think to end this podcast or whatever you want to call it, part of this is them delivering, Xbox delivering. Are you going to deliver a great looking game visually? I mean, if they show off Hellblade 2, I think that's an Unreal Engine 5 game. I'm going into this Xbox E3 believing we're going to see more Hellblade. How could we not? Just a new trailer of some sort. I think that game could be the first true visual showcase of what you could see on the Series X. That could really, again, this is where the competition needs to heat up. Like Microsoft, dude, Sony is stomping you in terms of how good their games look visually. Like, you're supposed to have the more powerful console, 12 T-flops. I've heard it for over a year straight from all the hardcore Xbox fans. You know, like, the time to show is here. Show something. And I hope they do. You're saying they showed clouds. I mean, I know. I'm not going to lie. Do you guys get the impression? I get the impression with Hellblade 2 that game's years away. I really, like, I see all the hires that they're making, and I see how, like, you know, it just seems like they're making slow progress, it seems, and that's depressing to me, because, like, that was revealed in 2019, and I mean, I'm not saying I expect it to release this year, but I thought it would be, you know, like, earlier in the Xbox's life cycle, the Series X anyway. I hope it is, but, you know, that's just the general question I have. You know, like, when we see Halo Infinite, we're obviously going to see a big chunk of Halo Infinite again. Is this going to be it? You know, is this going to be like, oh, so this is what, you know, finally, like, this is what next-gen Halo is supposed to look like, or are they going to disappoint again? You know, surely they're not going to disappoint again, right? They can't. Somebody says 2022 is dry for PlayStation. Oh, you think so? Okay. No, well, I mean, hey, we don't know. We don't know. I'm just gonna say remain patient. I mean, 2021 isn't dry for PlayStation. 2021's pretty good. Pretty good. And I have a good feeling 2022 is going to be even better. Anyway, guys, I got one more super chat here. The Furious is saying, please remember that Returnal reconstructs. It's not 1080. Yeah, I know. It's exaggerated. You're not literally playing at native 1080. That's not what's happening. So, all right, guys. I am going to have to end the stream now, though. It definitely went on longer than I wanted it to, but I just wanted to have a discussion about, you know, the direction, not the direction, but the expectation, I should say, that we all have for Xbox going into E3 2021. I don't know that I've made a definitive conclusion yet. Like, I don't know. I want to say right now I'm cautiously optimistic, but I think that it really depends on any info that comes out between now and E3, June 13th. That may make or break, you know, from the insiders and whatnot. That may make or break my real expectation for what I'm going to be expecting, because I'm not going to lie, I would feel pretty foolish, genuinely pretty foolish, if I go into this year's E3 with Xbox and I say, oh, this is going to be it. Like, surely, like, this is their year where they really shine and they're bringing the heat, and then they just kind of look like a joke again. I'm going to feel like a joke. I'm going to feel like, wow, okay, I got played again. And I'm genuinely wondering if this time around I should go into Xbox's E3 and be like, no, like, they're not going to do anything different. They're not. I'm leaning towards that. I'm leaning towards, but I feel like the second I do that, that's going to be when they have the big E3. You know what I mean? We'll see, though. We'll see. I think that there's definitely more reasons to be excited about Xbox's E3 this year than there ever have been. Again, the potential is there. So we'll have to see. Anyway, that's going to do it for the stream, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. One last time before you guys head out. The stream has over 62 dislikes, which is crazy. I don't know how it got 62 dislikes. I guess a lot of people just didn't like what I had to say. Do me a favor. Please hit that like button before you head out. I'd really appreciate it. It would help the video out a lot after the fact. So that's going to do it, guys. I will catch you tomorrow. Again, I'm going to be streaming the whole thing. I'm not going to be here for the whole thing because it's going to be a 5-hour build-up. But I'm going to start it at the time it goes up. So I'll catch you guys here tomorrow, all right? Till next time, take care, guys.